think there's some give and take in this particular lineup out here. The young lady that wins that first class out here, I thought he did so when we talked about how they looked phenotypically and how they got around the ring. I think this one got around with maybe just a little bit more structural integrity. As we compare him to the rest of the competition out here just a little bit, maybe one that wants to turn out on his front end just a little bit. You like the length of spine, the look that this particular bull gives you out here. Maybe he doesn't handle the rear two legs quite as nicely as what we'd like to see. But here's one that's got some depth of body, muscle shape. You like that about that particular bull. Maybe he gets a little flatter in his rib cage in comparison to some of the others out here. But here's one that's got a lot of good to him. The bull that comes out of that second class, I talked about how he kind of caught your eye from the first time he walked in the ring out here. Here's one that's very nicely made on the standstill. You like him up through his head and his neck region, down his top line, good rib type of an individual. As we get comparing this bull to some of the others out here, when we get him out here on the move, he wants to struggle off of that left front leg just a little bit. He labors off of it just a little bit. Doesn't hit his track quite as nicely as what we'd like to see off those rear two legs. Just simply gets a little straighter off both ends of his skeleton, but you like this bull on the standstill out here. He's got a lot of depth, a lot of performance to him. The bull that comes out of the next class, simply the same way. Here's one that maybe gets a little smaller footed type of an individual in comparison to some of the others out here. He's got a real big scrotal circumference on this bull. He's soft down through his middle. Gives you some length up through that neck. A little shorter headed, shorter face type of an individual in comparison to some of the others out here. But here's one that kind of gets a little stiffer on those rear hocks there, or rear pasterns there. You'd like to soften him up just a little bit, give him maybe just a little bit more cushion as his foot hits the ground. The bull that wins that last class, here's one that gets out and reaches off of that front end. You like that about that particular bull out here. Maybe walks outside of his skeletal whip just a little bit at times off that right rear leg. But here's one that gets out, fills his track, and takes a nice ground-consuming stride off of that front end. Got that length in that look, that masculinity about his head. Balances out down his top line with a lot of length and performance. You like him as he comes out the top side of his hip. You get behind him, he's got a lot of natural thickness and doability to him here. He'll be our champion.
All right, coming out our grand champion, Chimaine Chiangus bull is Holt Cattle Company in lot number 1.
I think when I step back and I look for our reserve out here, I think it gets a little bit more challenging. I think we've got to find the pieces that kind of fit together in the puzzle, maybe just a little bit more effectively. But before I go out and I pick our reserve champion, I'm going to take one more look. I want to thank the Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic for inviting me back to sort cattle here once again. It sure has been a high-quality shows that we've seen here this morning out here. Let's give everybody that kind of helps with this Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic a round of applause while I take one more look.
Our reserve grand champion, Chimaine Chiangus bull, comes out of lot number 2 from T-Bar T Cattle Company.